Hey guys, I am here with Rafael Lovato Jr., otherwise known as the other Rafael. How are you doing today, sir?
And I'm doing awesome. It's a great day.
I gotta say, you just finished a seminar here at Cobra Kai in Las Vegas. How do you feel today? How do you feel the seminar went?
Oh, it was awesome. Cobra Kai is an old home for me. I've spent a lot of time here. I actually lived here for a few months, like 10 years ago. I was living with Mark Lehman, and we were training a lot together, helping each other out for competitions. And, so I have a lot of old friends here. I always like to come by and visit. Obviously, it's Vegas, so it's my birthday weekend, so things worked out perfectly. Come here, teach, train, roll with the boys, and then go have some fun tonight.
I think this transitions nicely to the amount of grief I have to give you. There are several things I really have to give you a hard time about. I hope you're understanding about them.
Okay.
Okay. Number one, your name is Rafael. This is a problem for me. At Worlds, whenever somebody yelled Rafael, they were obviously meaning you, but they yelled that a lot in my direction. So I can't tell if they're taunting me or, can you just tone it down a little bit at being good at jiu-jitsu possibly? Number two, it's your birthday weekend, right?
Yes.
Guess whose birthday it is today?
Really?
Yup.
No way.
Yup.
Happy birthday,
Thank
man.
you.
Cancers.
Yep. So not only do I have to share the name of an infinitely superior person at jiu-jitsu, but no, I'm happy to share a birthday. And I was glad that you were doing this on my birthday because I was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I got to
That's
get out of here
awesome,
for
man.
that.
Happy birthday. Saul's birthday's in a couple days too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm in a good
he's,
group
he's
of
gonna be
people.
passing through here.
Yeah?
Things might get a little crazy.
Oh, well, look for that video, you guys. So talk to me about this. The third thing I have to give you grief about is you started a podcast.
Yes, the Save Jiu-Jitsu podcast.
Why did you do that? Also, follow-up question, why do you hate us at Verbal Tap for making a podcast?
Oh, I don't hate you guys. I'm just trying to, get my voice out there. Myself, some other people. Actually, talking to some other competitors a lot recently, some high-level guys, and I'm working on getting them on the show as well too. But, basically, for me, it was just about seeing the evolution of the sport and things becoming so, focused and oriented on, being, I don't want to say, playing in a way to where, you're not really showing dominance, but you're using the score, you're using the rules, the system to help you, barely beat the other person, and when I see the game go that way, I being in the not just the sport, but being involved in the art for a long time and knowing its roots and what I saw in Brazil growing up as a kid, the great fighters, the awesome memories and matches, and I just want to make sure that that isn't getting lost and people are remembering, what jiu-jitsu is about, the essence of jiu-jitsu, displaying pure technical dominance, getting to the best positions possible, and getting, obviously the submission, everything working towards the submission. Now, obviously you're not going to submit everybody, but, playing the open game and going out there and really trying to beat the other person, I think should always be, the goal. Instead of playing to not lose or to keep things close and keep it into a decision or win with advantages and things like that, I think are inhibiting, the people's abilities to actually leave the mat and saying, okay, this is what happened. This is what I can learn from this match, it's affecting. Obviously the sport's evolving, and I don't think any of the positions are necessarily bad, but maybe the goal from those positions, the mindset from those positions are off. And maybe if we were still playing in a more open game, the sport would be evolving in a different way that we're not exploring right now. The biggest thing for me is I don't want the blue belts or my students or other kids out there that are studying, the game that's being played now to come up only knowing that style and not know this other, style that exists that has different roots and a different mindset. It's really just all being about the samurai mindset, samurai spirit, leaving it all on the mat, giving everything you have, and really winning or really losing, and walking off the mat knowing that you gave everything you had and you have something to learn from that. And, I don't think it's necessarily any competitor's fault. Obviously, the mindset has to be there, and if you're going out there with a mindset to oh, I'm gonna stall and play the game and barely win, something like that, well then there's a problem with that. But not everyone necessarily has that mindset, but a lot of times we still get stuck within the rules. So I think a lot of it has to be has to do with the rules and how they should change and evolve along with the game that's evolving. I think advantages should be dropped, should just be totally gone, because it affects too much the way the game's played. You know, you don't get awarded in other sports for barely doing something. You know what I mean? You don't get a point in basketball for hitting the rim. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be awarded for that. You know, for going halfway, and so I think those should be gone 100%. And everything else besides that, I think a lot of it's going to be in our hands. You know, and going out there and playing the open style. That's what I believe in.
Now, I'm going to circle back to the podcast in a second. It's called Save Jiu-Jitsu. If you guys haven't given it a listen, please do. But I really want to know, what is your opinion of a lot of these submission-only tournaments that seem to be coming into the common consensus for the jiu-jitsu community? How do you see them playing out and maybe helping that movement that you're trying to spear, but also just playing out within the community itself?
You know, I think they're great. I think, you know, that's a good thing for people to experience competing in different formats. You know, like so many. Obviously, the IBJJF has the most prestigious events. They have the history, and those are going to be the most important titles. And so most people only compete in those events, and so their game is revolved around being successful in those events. You know, and you know, it makes me wonder sometimes. It makes me wonder what it's like when guys are training. Sometimes, you know, if they're stalling on each other or holding each other in certain positions when they're training, you know. And, you know, I think if you're competing in different events with different rules, submission only, no advantages, you know, this event, that event, I think it's only going to be beneficial, because then your game and your style isn't going to get stuck into only being successful in one format, you know. I think it's very important that people should train without a clock. They should train with no clock, you know. Growing up as a kid, when I was learning jiu-jitsu and training and everything, we used to never use the clock, you know.
You told us that story on the podcast, how it's routine for you to have hour-long matches.
Yeah, you know, like when Professor Salo or Shanji come into town and we're rolling, you know, we know each other so well, and all the years of training, you know, many times we roll for an hour, and finally we have to be like, okay, let's just stop, you know what I mean? Because we'll just keep going and going. But those are where I learn the most, because you're going to get mentally tested, you're going to get technically tested. How many times, you know, in training, in 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, however long you're training, even 10 minutes, you know, a lot of times you don't even pass the person's guard in 10 minutes, you know what I mean? You guys trade some sweeps, nothing barely happens, and then it's over. You know, what happened? What did you learn, you know? And so we train no clock, we just shake hands, we start going, and you know, maybe it takes 30 minutes for him to pass my guard, and then now I'm getting tested. Now my defense is going to be tested. Can I escape? Am I mentally strong enough to come out of that? And, you know, that's a lot of times where we had the funnest matches. I can remember so many times rolling with Shanji, 45 minutes. Like, we record it, we watch it, we're like, wow, man, so much good stuff happens. And a lot of it doesn't happen in the first 10 minutes, you know. You know, so as far as those tournaments, I think it's great for people to get out there, test themselves. At the higher level, I think it's going to be hard to run the worlds all submission only. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing for that, just get rid of advantages, you know, or make people score points before they can get an advantage. Something like that would be great. But I'm a huge fan of the professional events, like obviously Metamoris, submission-oriented, put on a show, go out there and leave it all on the mat. You know what I mean? Don't think about, you know, score and everything else. Think about, you know, being the better jiu-jitsu fighter, the better jiu-jitsu artist.
So when you guys were putting together Save Jiu-Jitsu, and it is a cool group of people that you guys have already just started putting on them, that we will like you've had Jeff Glover on there, Scotty Nelson, who beloved in the community. Also, Scotty just sent me money. I don't know. I feel like everybody just hits him up for money all of the time. Like, I feel like he's Mr. Moneybags of Jiu-Jitsu. But you know, you've got a great assortment of people on there. Why did you pick like an audio podcast version of it? You know, what was a podcast versus, say, videos or something else? What was the appeal of doing it via podcast for you guys?
You know, honestly, it all just kind of came together. You know, after the Pan Ams, I was just kind of like, you know, just looking at the game and everything, and I was like, man, I want to say some things, you know, and I know there's other people out there that feel the same way. You know what I mean? And not everyone has the, you know, the courage to say something, or, you know, they're apprehensive or something like that. They don't want to rub people the wrong way.
Is it safe to say that maybe you and I may have different forms of influence as to what that might be? Because, me coming out and saying, yeah, I think we should go this form of jiu-jitsu, with you, at least there is some credibility to those competitors who do feel that way. Because I think it is growing. Every time there's a questionable decision, it just seems like the consensus is, well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to help inspire people, my peers, the guys coming up to not, focus their style and their game on just being successful in, points and rules and advantages and things like that. Remembering, that this art is for self-defense and being able to take care of ourselves out there. And, I remember the time when a blue belt for sure would be able to take care of himself on the streets, and nowadays, maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe not.
Is that how you test your blue belts? Do you just send them out on the streets and you're like, well, unless you win a fight, you're not getting this?
I came up in a completely different time, and my father, to get a blue belt at our school, you had to have at least a basic foundation in striking and takedowns. And when you got your blue belt with the gi, you also had to spar vale tudo. We call it vale tudo then, but obviously MMA. But it came from a much different time, and it was about being able to take care of yourself. And if you're a blue belt and all is to play off your back and you don't have the takedowns and you don't know how to mount and things like that, then you're going the wrong direction. I think their foundation has to be the same, the foundation. And then from there, you want to develop certain areas that work for the sport and for the game. That's fine. But, it has to stay true to the essence of the art. And, so those things obviously are things that, I believe in and I want to support. And I'm just trying to inspire other people, to get the voice out there. I think now I hear and see a lot more of the top guys voicing their opinions. Hopefully I kind of sparked that. I see people talking more about 50-50 and things like that. And
what has been the biggest, I guess, either compliment or the biggest consistent comment that you have gotten as far as feedback from the podcast?
I get a lot of support. I get a lot of support. People, that believe in the same thing that I believe, and like for the fans, that's what they want to see. They don't want to see two guys double pulling and no one wants to stand up. You know what I mean? Or two guys locked in 50-50, wrap the leg, grab the lapel, and like, okay, let's go. Let's trade 50-50 sweeps. If I get the last one, I'm going to win. You know what I mean? The fans want to see an open game. The competitor is always going to put winning first, and that's fine, so that the rules need to change, and then we can put the winning with the right attitude, the right spirit first. For me, I'm always going to fight a certain way. I'm going to lose sometimes because of it, but I'm always going to learn, and I'm going to give you great matches. I'm going to give you everything I have. I'm not going to try to hold anybody, and whether I'm winning or losing, I'm still playing the same style, and I just think that at the end of the day, we have to be getting better, and if I play or someone plays just to keep it close and hold and don't open their game, yeah, it's less risky, better chance for you to keep it close or win, but what are you going to learn? Sometimes you got to get smashed. Yep. You have to. And I think a lot of the game is revolving around being able to be successful faster. If a blue belt puts a good black belt in 50-50, he's strong, he knows what's up, he might be able to sweep the black belt, which means he might be able to score or get an advantage. He keeps it long enough, the time runs out, he wins. It's a position where a brand new black belt or someone at a new belt or whatever, they can win. Maybe the guy's overall better than them, and obviously, and there's nothing wrong with the 50-50, okay? You have to understand it, know it, be able to defeat it. But if someone puts you in 50-50 and wraps the lapel around your leg and holds your sleeve and doesn't try anything, it's hard to get out. It is. You can't deny it. And especially with the gi. No gi, it's different. You have heel hooks. You have a lot more leg attacks, and it's slipperier. You can escape easier. It's much more dynamic. In the gi, you can't attack the leg like that. Guys start rolling, gets people DQ'd. You can hold, you grab the lapel, and you can score advantages. And all you have to do is every 20, 30 seconds make it look like you tried something, and you can stay there all day, And I think that's the main purpose, not necessarily to go there and that's going to be my route to submit the guy, but go there and that's going to be my route to score, get ahead, control the clock, and win.
So let me ask you this. I don't know if you've thought this all the way forward. But let's say they change the points, or they change something that just starts to make things flow a little bit better. Does the podcast end once you've saved jiu-jitsu, or is there continuous saving? Like, is there, just because you've been around the sport for so long, is there always seem to be something that comes up every so often in the zeitgeist?
Sure. Right now we're just talking about rules and the way the game looks and the way it's being played. But, obviously I want to see the sport grow. I feel like, now as a veteran, someone that people look up to and listen to, it's my job to help things hit the next level. I'd love to see the sport go to more of a professional stage. I love the black belts to have their own event, their own world championships, instead of having to be at the end of the weekend 4 or 5 days later, coaching
You
all
don't like
day.
that? What are you talking about?
It's exhausting.
You mean you don't like taking off 2 weeks of your time so that you can go and commit to, not only your training, but your students and maybe other people?
Man, look, I love coaching my guys, but it's hard. It's hard. It's tiring.
Especially
And
as a competitor
yeah,
at the
you
same
have to
time.
compete. And like I said, I just want to see everything hit the next level. And the black belts, I think we need our own world championships, our own separate event on a bigger stage, bigger show, where it's not just sitting on these uncomfortable seats every day. We get some bigger sponsors in there, more media, people with money. They have more of a VIP, more media coverage, more sponsors. It's only going to help. We're not getting paid out there. You know what I mean? And so if we're not getting paid, then, there has to be a certain level of exposure to help us get sponsors or gain,
There has to be a trade-off.
yeah, exactly.
To some
exactly,
extent.
Exactly. So, I'd like to see all that sort of stuff happen. But, the Save Jiu-Jitsu podcast is really in its beginning stages. We've only had a few episodes. I'm very busy training and competing, so it's hard for me to put one out every week. But I'm definitely going to keep doing as much as I can, get some more guys on there. I've been talking to a lot of my peers, and a lot of them feel the same way, and they're supporting me. So that means a lot. I'm sure there's some people out there that don't like it, but, I'm just trying to do what I feel is right. And
Would you be receptive to having those people on? Like,
yeah.
people who wouldn't agree? Because I think that's something that I think that is unique to your podcast that, like, say, I don't think we can do unless we want to facilitate a debate. And you don't really want to watch me and Kevin facilitate a debate. It'd just be really bad. But I think that it is something that would be interesting just from a perspective as a fan and as somebody who watches this. I don't think that there's one perspective that wins out over everything, but I think that there's a nice respective clash between people like you and maybe somebody who might not share that point of view. So that's my pitch to you guys. But let's transition to this. I hear a rumor on the streets. Okay. You know where the streets are, and maybe you know what the rumor is. So I'm going to ask you this question. We'll segue to it. But why do you hate jiu-jitsu so much that you're leaving us?
Oh, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere.
I have to ask too. You're also starting to grip up on your own collar, and I'm nervous for yourself.
This is natural. I have to always be holding something. Um, you know, um, I'm 31, just turned 31 years old, and when I started learning jiu-jitsu when I was a kid and grew up doing martial arts, it was always in my mind. It was kind of always my pathway that one day I would be in the MMA arena, and obviously I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. It became my passion. I put everything into jiu-jitsu, and I'm very fortunate to have been involved in jiu-jitsu at a time where, I was probably the first or one of the first American teenagers to ever go to Brazil to learn and compete in the World Championships back in 1999. Here I am 15 years later, still doing the Worlds, still, giving everything I have to be the best jiu-jitsu fighter I can be and help put Americans on the map and inspire and, create my own champions. Been teaching and building up my team for so long. And I feel really good about my work and what I've done in my career. Obviously I would have liked to have had some more world's gold medals, in the gi. I've medaled every year since 2007 and had some good runs, but I wanted to definitely win another gold, and so that's what's kept me in jiu-jitsu this long. And, but I've been motivated. I've been having a great time. Been having fun. You know, obviously, I feel a little differently about the way jiu-jitsu is nowadays, and I'm a little more motivated to try something else. Um, but but you know, I think now is the right time. You know, it's the perfect time. ADCC is on the odd number of years. You know, and every year I've been focused on ADCC, trying to win ADCC, and this year there is no ADCC. You know, and my academy's at a great level now. I have crew Mark Beecher living in Oklahoma City, teaching my school full time. He's a great Muay Thai coach. He's actually an old student of ours. Started his martial arts training with us years ago, and you know he kind of went his own route and became a great Muay Thai fighter and coach. And now he's back home with us, teaching and training with us full time. He's already gotten Raider up to a great level. Raider's already 2-0 in MMA.
I know, I was a little worried. I was like, did you just see Raider and you're like, well, all right, if Raider can do this, I mean,
No, no, it had nothing to do. People have been expecting me to fight for a long time. Actually, the people at home in Oklahoma City, kind of like just now. You know what I mean? Just now, you know, because they've seen me train stand up. They see me train, you know, with a lot of other MMA guys and stuff, and it's always been natural for me. You know, I grew up in that style. Like I said, you couldn't get a blue belt when my dad was running the school without having those skills. We were doing MMA before there was MMA. You know what I mean? That was the JKD, you know, style and background. So, you know, it's very natural to me. But you know, after the Worlds this year, it's, you know, this is it. There's no ADCC this year. I'm not really that motivated for tournaments right now. I wanna go. So things are in the works. I can tell you, it's not a rumor. It's 100%. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen soon. It's gonna happen in the fall this year, 100%. You guys will see me in the cage. I'm really excited about it. I'm already training for it, and you know, I haven't been this excited and this motivated in a while. So I think it's gonna be great. I'm still gonna fight the Worlds next year. I'm still gonna do ADCC next year, but I think stepping away, fighting is gonna be great for me, good for my career, and when I come back, I'm gonna be more in love with jiu-jitsu. You know, I've just been doing the same thing for so long. It's time for a little bit of a change. Yeah.
I mean, on behalf of the community, we're obviously going to miss you, but you're not going anywhere.
I'm not going
It's
anywhere.
just more so like, well, go do well there.
Yeah.
Because I think for all of us, and I maybe you feel the same way, but when there's another jiu-jitsu person, don't you find yourself intrinsically wanting them to do even better when they are in MMA?
Oh yeah.
You get that point where you're like, oh man, I want to see them smash. Now, here's the problem though. You do know that you can't pull double guard in MMA. Has they told you that?
I don't think anyone's ever seen me double guard pull anybody, but
I'm warning you for all of the possibilities. They also punch a little bit. I don't know if that's new, but these are my concerns for you.
you know, I'm really excited. I'm excited for the challenge. Something different. It's gonna test me as a martial artist, test my mental, my, you know, everything, see how I respond. But I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to learn some things about myself, and it's going to help my jiu-jitsu too. You know what I mean? This is what it's about, you know, and it's going to help me be a better teacher. I have a lot of guys that also, you know, are coming up that want to fight MMA too. Great jiu-jitsu guys that want to fight MMA in the future, and so I'm thinking about them as well. And that experience is going to be great for me, and it's just going to test me and only make me better. But I'm still planning on doing some no-gi super fights this year. You know, I'm gonna be busy, man. I still have a good, strong 4 or 5 years left, I think, and I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm not going anywhere. You're gonna see me doing everything.
We better. Well, I mean, now that we have it on video, we're holding you accountable to this.
No problem. No problem.
Now, you talked a little bit about your school. You guys had a monster year. Just at every tournament, you are seeing you guys do so well. What is the secret behind that? You know, tell us a little bit about the insight about what's been keeping you guys not only motivated, but what's keeping you guys just so dominant out there.
You know, man, I'm just so fortunate. Like I have, you know, I've been teaching since I was like 16 years old. You know, helping my father, and you know, we've been in business in Oklahoma City for over 20 years now, 21 years, and you know, I just have an amazing group of students. Family, you know, they're not really students, they're my brothers and my family, and guys I've been training with since forever, you know, been teaching and training with for so long, and you know, I just feel like, you know, everyone has the right mindset, you know, we all motivate and push each other on the mats, you know, we're still a relatively small team. You know, I don't have that many competitors out there, and it's hard coming from Oklahoma. You know, regionally we do amazing, but you know, it's harder to gain experience because California is farther away. You know, and so a lot of guys don't get to compete against the top level all the time. But you know, I feel like I I'm you know, being a good example and saying, look, we guys got to go out there, let's test ourselves. You know, when we train very hard. You know, I'm always promoting hard work, and nothing's easy, and you have to go out there and take it. You know, and everything's always been hard for me coming up in Oklahoma, and so you know, that's kind of the theme. You know, it's just hard work, hard training. I think you see that in my style, and Justin Rader's style, Jared Dobbs' style, all the other guys from my academy that people know, James Popolo. You know what I mean? Those guys, we try to show our work ethic out there, and that we're not going to quit, and we're going to go. And that's really where our results are coming from. Obviously, I have a lot of experience. You know, I'm the most experienced American black belt to date. You know, I've been competing in so many worlds against the best guys for several generations now, and so I have a lot to share. And you know, I feel like I know what it takes. I know what you have to do to win, how to train, how to drill, how to create strategies, and understand you know, the game and how to play. And so I'm sharing that as much as I can. And you know, we're just working hard, and things are going very well. I think the last 4 years or so, we've really put ourselves on the map, especially last year, ADCC, Nogi Worlds. You know, we had you know, a lot of people winning at the highest level and doing our thing. So it's good, but it's still just the beginning. I want to see, you know, you know, I want to have black belts in the finals of every weight class. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal. You know, so still got a long ways to go, but I'm working hard to expand my association. You know, doing a lot of seminars, traveling, and sharing my jiu-jitsu and bringing new people into the family. And you know, I have a lot of new schools joining my team, and really excited about that. You know, get some new you know, new people on the squad, find new talent, and keep developing everybody, and hopefully create, you know, the top team in the country.
I like it. Now, you mentioned seminars. You just did one here in Vegas. Where will people will be able to see you, I guess, for the next few months? Because you are going around touring and doing seminars, right?
Yeah, really just until through August, beginning of August. Then I need to get set onto my training again. But you know, obviously I'm still training now, but I am traveling on the weekends. Let's see, Vegas now. Next up will be New Jersey in a couple weeks. I'll be visiting Savarese Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is my affiliate out there, and I'll be inaugurating a new school in Delaware, Newport, Delaware, that same weekend. So I'll be on the East Coast, and then let's see, I come home and I'll be in Texas for a couple weekends. I have schools in Austin, in the Killeen area, and then I'll be going to Dallas, Wichita Falls. I have schools there, my association that I need to visit. And so those aren't very far. Those are closer trips. And then I'll have one more trip to go to Vancouver and Oregon, see my boys out there. I have a big team in Oregon in the Northwest, and my school in Vancouver. So I'm just gonna make my rounds through my association schools, and then it's back to work, you know, and finish the year strong after that.
I like it. So we want to start getting you out of here, but I know you are a man of no fear.
I wouldn't say that.
Really? What are you afraid of?
Spiders and snakes. I don't like bees.
All right, guys.
All those things.
I think those are fairly common fears, so that's not too bad. However, to all the competitors out there, if you put any of those in your gis, you now have a natural advantage over Rafael. We've broken it here. The reason I bring this up, would you be willing to participate in a game? The game is very simple. It's a lightning round. I'm just going to throw questions at you. You have 2 minutes. First thing that comes to your head. Are you willing to do this?
You didn't pre-frame me on this. You didn't.
Yeah, I know. Because here's the thing. You would probably say no. So this is way better to get.
All right.
Will you do this?
Let's do
All
it.
right. It's 2 minutes on the clock, and we're just going down the way. Have you done this before?
I don't think so.
You don't think
I don't think so. I might have done. No, nothing like this on video. Just bam, bam. No, I haven't. I've never done this.
I'm going to walk you through it. You're going to be great.
Okay.
Trust me like I trust you with technique.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Just don't ask me anything crazy.
All right. We're gonna try and keep it PG. Don't worry, you're fine. All right. First question with Rafael Lovato Jr. and go. Do you know what you're gonna be walking out to when you are fighting in MMA?
Probably a Jay-Z song.
Which Jay-Z song?
I don't know yet. There's so many good ones.
You need to pick it down to just one. What is the move that you wish you could pull off more, but you don't?
Flying stuff.
Flying stuff? Any specific flying?
No, I mean I like flying triangles. I used to do them a lot when I was coming up, and then I got kind of big and it got a little scary sometimes, you know. But I was really happy I hit a flying triangle at ADCC last year, and I'd like to do those more often. You know, I don't always get the chance, guys pull or whatever, but you know, those are one of my favorite moves. I'd like to do flying triangles or flying arm bars.
Favorite place to do a seminar? Can't say Vegas.
That's tough. Probably Europe, man. Europe is just so beautiful. You know, obviously I have friends in other places I love to visit, and we always have a good time. But you know, Europe, I love being out in Europe. It's one of my favorite places in the world.
Whose game do you admire the most other than yourself?
Current or of all time?
Let's say both.
All time, definitely Haja Gracie. Obviously, my professor, Salo and Shanji. That style is what I love and I believe in so much. The mount, the finish, the pressure, the basics. And nowadays, the one I look up to the most, probably Hudolfo. Just beautiful passing, beautiful pressure, great finisher. I think he shows some of the best jiu-jitsu out there, for sure.
If you could steal one thing from somebody's game in current jiu-jitsu competition, who would it be and why?
I don't know. Just their game, or just
Some aspect of their game.
man, you know, I really like Braulio and Victor. I like their inverted triangles. You know, I do a little bit of that. I like that stuff, and I like the steam a lock.
Okay.
You know,
4 seconds. Do you regret doing this interview?
no.
All
No.
right. I think you passed with flying colors. That is actually a good answer for us, Steven. I do like that, actually. I know you've got stuff to do out here, so we want to let you get out and enjoy the rest of Vegas. And please remember, don't party too hard in Vegas. You know, have a good time, but not that good of a time. You got students to get back to. But we want to thank you not just for taking time to talk with us, but for giving great instruction over here at Cobra Kai. I think everybody left with something really, really great in the seminar, and we really appreciate such high-level jiu-jitsu and technique and passion that you put forth. So if you guys have the chance, get in contact with them. Where can people get in contact with you?
You know, lots of different ways. You know, you can obviously go to my fan page on Facebook, LovatoJuniorFans.com. People can message me there. I'm always posting my news and, you know, upcoming events, things that's going on. Anyone that wants to come by Oklahoma City, and visit my school, they can find information at okbjj.com. Everyone's welcome. You know, come train and have some fun. Otherwise, my website is lovatojunior.com, and you know, there's ways to contact me there as well. And if people are interested in videos, things like that, they can check out lovatobjjvideos.com, sign up for my email list, and see everything I'm putting out there. You know, really working hard on sharing my jiu-jitsu and doing some cool things with my online students and things like that. So if anyone's interested in that, you know, that's just sign up for my email list, and you'll hear about it eventually.
I like it. Guys, please get in contact with him. Take one of his seminars. Definitely watch his videos. Tell people about it. And rally behind this man when he fights MMA, because you're one of us, and we wish nothing but the best for you. And my man, it was truly a pleasure.
Great. I just want to say thanks to the Verbal Tap Podcast. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to you know, all my students back home and everyone here at Cobra Kai. Thanks for the awesome energy today. And shout out to all the people in the Hibeto Jiu-Jitsu Association, Lovato Jiu-Jitsu Association. Love you guys, and let's get ready for the next challenge.
Boom. Peace.